What's going on? We're back here with Eternity Spirit of Justice, where it's episode 10 and we are about to rocket into the second trial of the game. You know what? That investigation sequence was so long and we got such a vast supply of evidence, I could almost see this being a one-day only trial. Not sure. Anyway, Mr. Wright said he believes in us, so we are renewed in our two most important tasks, try to prove Trucy's innocence and prove cute Bonnie's innocence. And, you know, get the office back or whatever. I have never been more hyped. This is one of the trial sequences I have been anticipating the most in this entire series so far. Like, the information we already do have and the things that I'm still confused about interest me so greatly with this. Like, there are a lot of souls I can see coming by, but it all, of course, you never know when you're gonna get to use them until you get in there. April 28th, 9:15 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Let's do this. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. Are you allowed to be in the defendant lobby? Oh, well, you're the defendant. Yeah, I guess you are. I forgot it worked that way somehow. Maybe ignore that. Pretend that didn't happen just then. He's been like that since yesterday. I guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all this. Get it together, Apollo! Yikes! Athena, what did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're gonna get yourself way too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nayuta Sadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Not the way Athena told it anyway, and before he was in court, he was meditating with a bunch of rabbits and butterflies, so that's interesting as well. I've been kind of wondering when we would get like a gentle and soothing and laid-back prosecutor one of these days. Because most of them so far have been... Well, I mean, Gatto's kind of like smooth and cool, but he's not like polite and gentle. And I think that's going to be such an interesting dynamic. Because now and again, when you have screamy protagonist characters and then loudmouth prosecutors, the energy in the room just becomes very overwhelming to a point, which is good sometimes, but it will be interesting to see the inverse. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Yeah? What did you find out? We know that Apollo knows something about him. Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. Man, this isn't going to be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she talked to him for us, though. Here's hoping that went well. It's not like he's going to throw the trial, anywho. In any case, it sounds like he's going to keep us on our toes. I've been on my toes since the day I was born. That's why I know you're ready. Why I know I can leave the Trucy and the office to you. I believe in you, Apollo. Mr. Wright is putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. Stakes, pressure. I'm fine. There he goes again. That's almost like he's chanting a prayer. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine! If you say so, Apollo. The trial will begin momentarily. Is the defense ready? Yes! We're fine! Trucy's fate and the fate of the agency rest on this trial. This is it, Justice! If ever there was a time to shine, it's now! I feel good. I have a good feeling. We haven't died in this game yet. Let's keep that streak up. April 28th, 9:30. Oh man, he was doing that for 15 minutes. 9:30 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. That's new, isn't it? Boosh! Day 1. Court is now in session. All rise! I'm glad we kept that from Dual Destinies. Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution? Prosecutor Sadmati? 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. Nice eyelashes. Oh, and his eye color is cool too. He's cool all around. I was praying for the victim. Oh, praying? Yes, yes, I see. You're a Khura'Inist monk, correct, prosecutor? Yes, that is correct. I am but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Khura'In. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country and may make many blunders. Let's hope we receive you more warmly than Khura'In did Phoenix. Are your earrings levitating? He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement, if you would.
Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Now, let the last rites of the victim begin. Naita Sadmati, he's really been making a name for himself apparently, but that nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that will come into play today.
I don't. I'd rather it just blindside me.
The incident...
That's cool. Big skull he rolls out when he's got to read.
The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which she thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Man of Mystery, otherwise known as the Great Mysterious.
Man of Mystery. Oh, Man of Mystery. Got it.
His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick.
Autopsy report added. Report, please. Added. Victim's real name was Man of Mystery. Let me have a look at that autopsy, please. Time of death, April 27th, approximately 10:30 a.m. When, supposedly, according to the script, shortly after the teleportation and escape trick. So either they were running 10 minutes behind schedule, or just that was meant to be a 10-minute bit that we saw there, even though it's only like 40 seconds on the video. Sorry, I didn't finish reading that. Cause of death, shock. Cause of death, shock, as a result of being stabbed through the back with a sharp blade. The victim's real name was Man of Mystery. What do you mean, shock? He had like a heart attack and wasn't actually killed by a stab wound? That's a really weird phrasing. But the blade was bloody up to the hilt, so it's not like you poked him a little and then he had a heart attack. Someone did stab him, or he got wounded in the back pretty gravely, and then I guess maybe someone could planted the blood on that sword, but anyway, the phrasing there is absolutely key. So his death was just an unfortunate accident.
It is only natural for one to assume as such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide.
By the way, has he been added? Sure has. A prosecutor from Khura'In. He's also a monk, which explains why he's known as the Last Rites Prosecutor, age 25. Man, if Bad Bonnie is actually 19, and this isn't just the actual Bonnie's age, and she and Rettins are together, that's gross. Not illegal, I guess, but gross.
The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident.
I see. I do believe this crime was committed by the defendant.
After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I, unfortunately, had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all.
Very well. And now, let us hear from the defense. Also interesting here because I'm very curious what this Almighty guy's whole deal is, because every prosecutor we've had thus far has had some, motivation for what they're doing beyond what you would normally expect from any old prosecutor. Like, they had some connection to one of our characters or one of the most important cases, so on and so forth. And if Apollo has some of his previous with this guy. Very well, and now let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor.
If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning?
My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant.
I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? What a fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind.
Putrid mind? Prosecutor Salmati? Excuse me, but I don't... If you don't mind my asking, Prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting?
A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul toward enlightenment. It is a Khura'inist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused.
I see. So basically you're asking the defense to get real. Is this Sunmari's theme? Because it's cool as hell. Is that Don Milana here playing in the background?
Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners, and to guide victims' souls to the Twilight Realm.
Is that what monks do? Punish sinners? I thought they were more like religious teachers, but I guess they don't know the strict definition.
Should you show repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell along with Trucy Wright.
No, wait just 1 minute here. Putrid, pit of hell, is that any way to address someone in a court of law? Yeah, he's already said he'd apologize for any rude things he said up front, right? Let's give him a bit of slack. Prosecutor said, Marty, that may be the way you conduct trials in Khura'In, but I would appreciate it if you would refrain from such charged language here.
Your Honor, that was but a Khura'inist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize. I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Khura'In, huh? Even still, that was way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. Yeah, I could have done without the sentence, the damnation to hell. And the trial's only just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as a cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it? I guess we can try. What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. It's only polite. Oh, man. Oh, no, Emma. Uh-oh. I thought she'd said goodbye to the Snackoos. I figured we hadn't seen the last of them. Detective Skye? The courtroom is no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girl's gotta eat, right? She, seems a little stressed out. Oh no, poor Emma. I'm sure she'll be back to happy mode before the end of the game.
Detective Skye, your testimony, please.
She really does care for Trucy. Yeah, about that, I just want to state for the record that, I believe Trucy Wright is innocent. I'm sorry?
Detective Skye, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end.
But
Let it go, and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother.
Fine. I don't know about the divine part, but I got your punishment bit loud and clear. I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork or something for sticking up for Trucy. She and Prosecutor Samadi don't seem to get along very well, do they?
Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive,
Plunging herself
$3 million into debt.
Yeah, most of our detectives don't have good luck with the prosecutors, do they? Except Fulbright, I guess, but... Well, we know how that ended up.
The evidence, if you would, Detective Skye.
All right. Please, take a look at this poster. Cancelled? What? It's a Troop Grummery poster from 13 years ago. From Khura'In, I guess, with the symbol there. No, never mind, that was here as well. Is the only difference between this one and, the one that we have, that there's a cancelled sticker over it? I feel like something else is off somehow. Is it just me, or is it a little different from the one in Miss Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of that poster. This one says cancelled under Mr. Rios. That's right, Mr. Rios left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Rios' right forearm near his elbow. See the big scar there? He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. Ouch, it's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Menifee Grand Marie concluded Mr. Rios was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Menifee announced Mr. Rios wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Menifee's decision, Mr. Rios tried to go on stage anyway. This in turn caused Menifee to oust Mr. Rios from the troupe on the spot. You kicked Mr. Rios out? Seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? And could you really not have afforded to make a poster that just didn't include him? Having him on the poster with a sticker that says cancelled just seems a little bit petty.
When it came to magic, Troop Gramarye was so passionate, or should I say extreme, about it, that it caused problems for them from time to time.
Yes, they even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics.
And now, the troop's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troop's rare talent was inherited by the right person, after all. A putrid talent for criminality.
Both Apollo and Athena are just like, it's not going well. You sound rather extreme yourself, prosecutor.
Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor.
As I was saying, I think most people would probably be empathizing with them more than sympathizing. After his expulsion, Mr. Rias apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troop.
He would tell those close to him, I will get my revenge on Troop Gremory someday.
Revenge, That certainly sounds antagonistic. Do you have any evidence that he was saying that?
13-year-old poster updated in the court record. Mr. Rias was apparently ousted from the Troop Gremory 13 years ago due to an injury he sustained. And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you would be so kind, Detective Sky.
I guess I don't have a choice, do I? I don't know. Would a police detective have a say in testifying or not? I guess probably not. Unless he wanted to get fired.
The defendant's motive. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gremory during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Rias is going to first steal the Gremory notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge. And while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets.
Well, such as the prosecution's position, but not yours, apparently.
By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Rias and make it look like an accident.
Objection! That's nothing but conjecture.
Objection. The victim's assistant, Bonnie DeFam, gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Rias said, I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gremory's secrets on stage today.
What? Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it?
You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, defense.
No thanks. I'd rather just get into the cross-exam. Oh? And what's that? Give up.
Let it go and move on.
Excuse me?
Helping a sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames of hell, and then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life.
But I don't believe in that sort of thing. Besides, I have no intention of giving up.
Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life.
That's responsibility then, I guess. Also, Life is Strange wants their symbolic butterfly wings. Actions will have consequences back. A stink bug! Now then, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Yes, please. So I'm guessing probably what we want to do here is say there's no way Trucy would have actively tried to sabotage her own thing when it would have meant she was $3 million out and didn't have that kind of money. I just noticed that the forensics thing is bobby pinned to her coat. That's so awesome. The defendant's motive, cross-examination. We had 5 lawyer badges in this game. I do kind of like the little stylized icons over the bar. I don't know, but I do like the design of the bar in the original trilogy remake, like the HD remake. There's something very satisfying about like the dotted lines that go over it and the way it's kind of diagonal. If he did plan to get his revenge on Troop Gremory during Trucy's magic show, Mr. Rias was going to first steal the notebook, the Gremory notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. So I'd like to push on this because I think what we want to get at is that there's no way Trucy would have... I guess it's a bit twisted since we know it was forged, but the court doesn't necessarily know that yet. We have a document here saying that she would be out $3 million if the show got cancelled, and she obviously would understand that him dying wouldn't lead to it getting cancelled, so there's no way she would just ditch that $3 million when she didn't have it, because she'd have to give up being a magician, probably. So what's the point in keeping the secrets then? But I want to hear what Athena has to say about it. Let's try to draw out all that we can from Emma's testimony. Knowing her, I'm sure she'll try to help us out as much as she can. Right. As long as Prosecutor Samadi doesn't cut her off at the pass, that is. So they want me to push as well? I agree. I want to start with this final point here. Hold it! I'm sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder? Beats me. What? The basis is beats me? You'll have to ask Prosecutor Samadi over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either.
Detective Sky, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer.
Ah! Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit. Anything but that.
Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything for us.
Well, Prosecutor Salmani, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? And I could do without the threatening of the detective in the middle of the courtroom?
It was the luminous tape in the understage passage. I realized that it had been moved so that Mr. Rias would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake.
What?
Mr. Rias, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area. After being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1, Mr. Rias was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin. But the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into.
Bad Bonnie's face over there. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape.
But of course, Detective Sky.
Or sorry, I guess that's good Bonnie on stage. We don't know which Bonnie it is. Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape.
You what? You actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it all go and move on?
Absolutely not! Detective, please add the information about the prints on the tape to your testimony. I'm not sure that gives us loads just yet. Defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show. That does seem fishy, but I can't say exactly why. We know she was down there to move these, but I'm not certain just yet. I'll push on that as well.
Hold it! What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints?
Well, I bet it was Detective's intuition. I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints.
Huh?
I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without anybody getting mad at me.
It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic.
I don't know, I think that's good in this case. The tape was moved to guide Mr. Rias into the coffin that was downstage. If that's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident.
It certainly doesn't help that Trucy's prints are on the tape. I wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation.
Hang on, what we just heard, I guess that was this dialogue here. Okay, so in this game, this dialogue changes a lot as you get new information, the dialogue that happens at the end. Maybe it was that way in Dual Destinies as well, and I just wasn't noticing. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook...
Hold it!
Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Sky? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Rias to stop him from getting his revenge?
Of course I don't think that. The Trucy we know would never... Keep your private considerations separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began. Did I not, Detective Sky?
Yes, you did.
Please recite my exact words to you.
You said to lie about Trucy not being the murderer. Emma Sky, you are a detective first and foremost, not the accused's friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully.
Excellent. So you do remember what I said to you. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded, for the Holy Mother sees all.
This Holy Mother is no scientific concept I've ever heard of. Those two really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as well as oil and water. I'm not sure that's always true. As I was saying. Oh, she looks so put out. I feel so bad for her. The defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. We already pushed on that. Let's start from the top then. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Montgomery during Trucy's magic show.
Hold it!
Revenge after all this time? It's been 13 years already. Why now? I know, right? I thought that was pretty sketchy myself. I mean, wouldn't he have done it a long time ago if he was going to do it? After all.
Detective Sky, self-indulgent outbursts such as those will earn you divine punishment in the form of a salary evaluation.
Wait, that's what divine punishment means?
Let the detective have her snack. This humble servant of the Holy Mother shall explain. Over a decade ago, Troop Memory was at the height of their popularity, but then their reputation declined, and they had all but faded from public memory. Until recently, that is, when Trucy Wright sought to recapture their former glory.
The defendant? And at such a young age, too. How impressive.
Yes, the accused's skill at magic is undeniably impressive. If she hadn't fallen onto the path of sin, she would have had a bright future ahead of her.
It's always sad to see such promising young potential go to waste. Man, I'm sure taking a long time on this first, testimony. Maybe it'll be one where you just push on everything and then it advances. Now then, Detective Sky, how did Mr. Rios plan to get his revenge? And please put down the snackoos before you continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rios was going to first steal the grammar notebook from the defendant.
Hold it!
What evidence do you have that Mr. Rios actually stole the notebook?
Well, you see,
Whenever you're ready, Detective. Fret not, Detective Sky. You have nothing to repent for. You should be proud of the fine forensic discovery that you made.
Forensic discovery? And what did she discover specifically?
Detective Sky identified a certain set of fingerprints on the notebook. Upon further inspection, she determined that they belonged to Mr. Rios.
What?
The detective found the fingerprints entirely of her own volition. For that, I must say, well done, Detective Sky. Get a little too addicted to using your precious white powder, did you, Emma?
I mean, it's good that she found the fingerprints, though. This gets us closer to the truth. Is that the guillotine in the back? Oh, no, it's a banner. I thought they brought the guillotine from the show in here for some reason.
Now, Detective Sky, I would ask you to explain exactly how Mr. Rios intended to use the notebook to exact his revenge.
All right. Well, first he stole the notebook. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. Hold it!
I'm going to reveal all of Troop Memory's secrets on stage today. That's what Mr. Rios himself said, right?
According to Bad Bonnie's testimony, which we have not heard, personally. Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Grammary secrets he was talking about. But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Grammary's magic.
Yes, that is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Rios was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked.
So basically, Trucy's notebook was hiding in Mr. Rios' things because he had stolen it himself. I see. Truly a motive that only a magician could have.
Yes, that's what the prosecution believes, anyway.
Dang, that means we've pushed everything, doesn't it? Hang on, let me just push everything again, because I feel like I missed one somehow. But if I didn't, then we gotta put some evidence here that I missed somehow. I go for a snackoo right now. Right, push everything, there's no new information, and they still are just saying, if the tape, Athena just says the tape was moved to makes it sound like it was a murder. So we gotta put something here. I've got a few ideas cooking, but nothing super solid. I think we want to be pushing on the point we added, I assume. I guess she must have moved it during the show. It feels like they're trying to get me to say, well, she couldn't because she was busy doing this other stuff. Like she was busy moving the stage lift or something. But I also had the thought that maybe we're supposed to say, well, she would never murder anyone if she was going to be out $3 million. I'm still thinking about that, but it doesn't seem like the right place to put it yet. I mean, given that this is like one of the few pieces of evidence we have that specifically references backstage, down understage, I guess there's that. There's something weird about the timeline of this, though, as well, because Trucy gets drop-kicked into the coffin, climbs down the thing, and that's when they're supposing that she moved the tape, I guess. Because if she'd done it before, then, I don't know. No, yeah, no, they say she must have moved it during the show. But if it was during the show, then Mr. Rios would have been down there and seen her do it, right? But I don't know that the stage lift exactly says my point there, which leads me to believe that maybe my point is off. Let me just watch the show again here and see if that gives me anything here. Stumped on the first one. Not a good sign. I was so confident going into this as well. I really, really would like to get through this without... I'm trying to get through this whole game without dying, because I died too many times in Dual Destinies. And Apologisters for that matter. So I don't want to just go leading before I look. This was the testimony that was added, and it's, like I was saying before, generally uncommon that they let you add one where it isn't what you're meant to put on. So basically what I should be asking myself is, which point am I meant to put on here? Oh, no, sorry. There we go. I figured it out. Trucy wore gloves during the show so none of her fingerprints were found. No, I just had to relook through all our evidence and to find it eventually. Objection!
I'm sorry, Detective Sky, but there's a flaw in your testimony.
Well, oh, really?
The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at that time.
It doesn't?
Please consider the fingerprint results of the main
Oh, you know what? It only just clicked me the reason that Bonnie has so much makeup is because it's for both of them. God, the details in this game are good. There's a lot of this game. I think Dual Destinies was a bit like that as well, where there was a lot of like incidental dialogue that is like, they're playing a funny, and it's like, oh, no, that's important. And even though it's not necessary that you pick up on those little details to solve it, it can help you get an idea of what's going on earlier on. It's neat.
Please consider the fingerprinting results of the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints was found on or in it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints on that coffin. I think you realize what the flaw in your testimony is? Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Oh! She must have left the prints sometime before the show started, or they were planted. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient! My... But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that.
And here's a remix of Apollo Justice theme, too! That was really pitchy, sorry. Oh, that little synth solo? Oh, that bops. That's so freaking cool.
But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that.
Well, Prosecutor Salmani, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim.
I see. Apparently the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. It only took you about 20 minutes. More than a stink bug at any rate.
Come on, you can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can't you? Would that really be any better? Of course, way better! Stag beetles are cool, with those huge mandibles of theirs. Totoro!
If the defense wishes to be promoted to a stag beetle, then answer me this question.
I think stag beetles are freaky. As freaky as stink bugs.
Alright, shoot! Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide and entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into said coffin with the victim in it.
So it's still her fault, is what you're saying. So what you're saying is, the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right?
Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of this case.
Well, it sounds more like he was shocked to death, according to the autopsy report that you just gave, but I'll allow it.
If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter.
We will do no such thing.
I see.
If it was involuntary manslaughter, they could plead extenuating circumstances. Come on, it's only been the first cross exam. We're not giving up that soon. And the severity of the crime could be mitigated.
Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue that it was an accident?
This is it. The all-important question. The defense argues that Mr. Reyes' death was murder. The defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. There's too much sketchy for this not to have been a murder, anyway. A third party? As in the true culprit is someone else? Bingo. You hit the nail on the head, Detective Sky.
That is quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly without grounds.
I wouldn't say wholly, although I have forgotten exactly why I think we were pretty convinced what, like, evidence would imply it's a murder. Oh, well, right, this whole thing, I guess. That's probably my best. That plus the awkward camera work is probably my best evidence there. His blood is on the murder weapon. Let's phrase this real delicately now.
Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life.
I've been demoted to a vegetable? Wow, I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim.
Let us hear this reasoning of yours, then.
All right, but before I give it, there is one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? A very good question. Now let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up inside the coffin? He was killed in the coffin. It was magic. He was killed under stage. That's actually a really good question. I kind of assume he was killed in the coffin still. It would be pretty hard, dare I say impossible, to bring someone up a ladder. Like, we just had this in Dual Destinies, right? Like, to carry a body down a ladder is not feasible. Or indeed up one. In fact, much less up one. And I don't suppose the stage lift really... Well, we don't have enough information on how the stage lift works, really. Because obviously there's a ceiling above those stage lifts. So... does it, like, open briefly while the stage lift comes out, and then they step back, and then the stage lift goes back down, and then it closes, and then they step on it? Is that how the stage lifts work? It doesn't seem like something that could be orchestrated for a corpse stood upright into that coffin, right? Because the corpse they'd have to be standing upright to get it fit into the coffin, because it's a very tight fit. And you wouldn't be able to do that and use the stage lift to somehow bring them up the ladder at the same time. So, killed under stage seems pretty unlikely. I guess we could also say it was magic, like, you know, they used tricks to make it seem like his body was in the coffin, but in reality, it just got, like, maybe he was killed up on the catwalk and then dropped down there or something. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it isn't he was killed under stage. I feel like if I just say he was killed in the coffin, even though that's what makes the most sense to me, they're gonna be like, but that would mean Trucy did it. And it's like, well, he was stabbed in the back and only allegedly twisted to avoid it and to avoid the incoming sword. I don't know. I'm pretty unconfident here. It's a shame we're going to lose help for this because I don't feel like I actually have evidence to support this. I feel like I could pretty confidently say he was killed on stage seems wrong because it would be very difficult to get the body standing into an upright position to then fall forward out of the coffin on stage. It was magic. I guess that's supposed to be more of a joke answer. Even though there could be some answer, like they used trickery to achieve it. Probably what they want me to say is he was killed in the coffin. Still, but just not by Trucy. But I'm pretty sure it's either that or they want me to say it was he was killed in the coffin!
I suppose the victim might have been killed inside the coffin. Exactly. And who was the one who thrust the sword into the coffin?
It was Miss Wright, of course.
Your Honor, it would appear the defense has finally given up. Please render your verdict.
Hold it! No, wait just a minute. I said might have been. I didn't say definitely was. Did you really think such verbal acrobatics would get you off the hook? A little bit. I mean, the back opens, right? So he could have been stabbed in the back. So there's no evidence that that wasn't a possibility. If only I could have stuck the landing better. Why don't you try again, defense? It was magic then. The defense would like to contend that it was magic. I've seen that kind of trick before. Money appearing in an empty box, for example. I see. And how does a trick like that work? What's the secret to it? The appeal of magic is in the mystery, wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? Sometimes it's better to just accept it for what it is. Enjoy it, and move on. The real mystery here is how you pass the bar exam, Mr. Justice. Alright, fine. He was killed under stage and just whatever. That's dumb. That shouldn't have been one you lost health for. He was killed under stage. He just climbed the ladder while dead, it's fine. What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? Oh, I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Sadmati?
That is the third time.
The third time of what? Mr. Justice tried to answer this question? What the heck is this?
とら今おまどもさましで足し抜けたれがせよそろか
My head! What do you think you're doing?
Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you needed to be punished.
Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need?
It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing.
I caught a phantom once.
Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon.
A sermon? Now?
There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Khura'Inism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake.
Huh? A cornered lawyer has unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get it right?
No, for I am not done with my sermon. And yet the frog still dies, its belly bitten and torn from within.
Just great.
And in this case, you are that frog, Defense.
What exactly is your point anyway?
Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who then had the opportunity to do so during the show?
Let's see. People in the show were...
Pt.10, the victim Mr. Rias, and Trucy Wright. Pt.10 was on stage throughout the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage from the show, which leaves us with only one suspect, Trucy Wright.
And, whoever the prince on top of the coffin belonged to, and the other Pt.10.
Now do you see? The accused killed Mr. Rias as he waited on standby in the understage passage, and then placed his dead body in the coffin above, thus making the murder look like an accident.
No!
Why would she stab it then?
Don't be ridiculous.
O great and merciful Holy Mother, thus another putrid mind has been guided toward enlightenment.
I can't believe I swallowed his trick question whole. Dumb. Dumb game. Bad game. Game of the not year. Objection! Sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena? What do you... There's something I want to point out, Apollo.
And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance.
I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same.
And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity?
Sorry, excuse you, you're only like 25. I most certainly would. You just argued that the defendant killed the victim under the stage, but let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl.
Clearly. Surely you didn't raise an objection simply to point out such an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her home.
Hold it! But I'm not done with my sermon! You don't need to talk like Prosecutor Salmati, Listen, if the victim was killed in the understage passage, then his body would have to be hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have lifted that large body up and put it in a coffin. Oh, that's true. It does seem like it would have been a rather difficult task for the defendant. I don't think even I could do it. What do you think of that, prosecutor? Who's a child now?
In my religion, the priestesses of Khura'Inism are revered as the pillars of our beliefs. So I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. I also think highly of the female perspective.
Says the man who called this fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? Easy, Apollo.
I agree that your point is worth discussing, Defense. How indeed was the dead body raised up into the coffin? By the accused, Trucy Wright, that is.
You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, huh? Then you explain what even be possible. How that even be possible.
But of course, as soon as you get your tongue untied. There was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up.
Huh? Wait, you really can't explain it? I'm gonna say the hoist but I don't even understand how that could possibly work. You'd have to be backstage operating the winch.
I foresaw that our arguments would come to this, so I have prepared a witness.
Well, I admire your readiness, prosecutor.
It is really not that difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial.
He couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, could he? It's pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, but may I step down now? Yes, I suppose you may.
One moment, Detective Sky.
I'm sorry for, the way I handle all of this.
You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable.
It was?
Yes. You served well as a detective and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame the conflicted emotions you felt and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work.
Thank you.
I hope we can work together again in the future.
Emma seems bewildered by the unexpected praise. I guess he's a pretty nice person, like they say, as long as you're not up against him. Kind of the vibe I got. Now then, let us call the next witness. Who indeed? A Bonnie, but which Bonnie? I guess if they're testifying against us, it'll be Bad Bonnie.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm a legomorphing illusionist from the land of fairy tales, Bonnie-10.
This sounds like Bad Bonnie.
I can't wait to do some magic tricks for all of you.
Please, witness, there is a time and a place for all things, including magic.
Normally this is about the time at which I end an episode, but I want to carry on here because I feel bad about the way I completely flubbed that multiple choice.
Aw. But it would be okay if I do just a little magic, right? Come on, please? Look, everybody is waiting. Now's my chance to shine.
Satoru!
That is your second time.
My second time doing what?
There will be no further warnings. You should know that from our preparatory meeting, correct?
Is no one exempt from His Holiness's rosary of suffering? May we have your testimony, witness, once you've recovered from your disappointment?
Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, I don't really want to testify against her, but I guess I have to, don't I?
As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh?
I hate her. I love her. I can't stand that Trucy Wright. Just because she's a little good at magic. She thinks she's all that. So this is exactly what the sniveling brat deserves.
Sure, you're a real fan, all right. Of destroying Trucy, you mean?
Witness testimony.
I wonder if there's anything different on this one's outfit. I'm not 100% million percent sure that this is Bad Bonnie, but... I mean, they're identical twins, so if anything would be different, it would be their outfit, I suppose. The Understage Passage.
I really can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Rias. I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up if she used a stage lift. Is it possible? Could Trucy really have... If Trucy did use a stage lift, I think she must have used stage lift number 2. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way.
We know. You were on stage the whole time. You're sure about that?
There is no question. The entire audience could testify to that fact. What's more, she is shown clearly in the TV show footage as well.
Well, not all of it, but...
I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Rias. Not little old me.
Therefore, the only person who could have killed the victim understage is the accused. Furthermore, by using a stage lift, even a petite young lady could have raised the body up to the stage without difficulty,
And definitely have stood it up at the same time, so that it would fit in the coffin.
You've got to be kidding me.
Very well, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. So I think probably, she brought up stage number, cross-examination, the Understage Passage. She brought up stage lift number 2 pretty specifically, so I'm imagining we've got to put the stage lifts here. I think that's a pretty concrete one. And it was already all the way up. Oh yeah, right. So she would have had to crank it all the way down, which you can't do by yourself. Objection! The witness's statement contradicts this piece of evidence, Your Honor. And just what part of the testimony is inconsistent with this evidence? The fact that it was already up. And you need 2 people to bring it down. Are you kidding me? That's funny. I thought I saw an inconsistency a second ago. It disappeared, like magic. The murder occurred during a magic show, so crazy things like this are bound to happen. Oh, really? Well, let's see how magical you think this penalty is. Am I supposed to push on that, I guess? Seems pretty normal to me, Your Honor. What the hell? Is that not like a totally valid... Anyway, hold it! Stage lift number 2. You mean the stage lift shown here on the left?
That's right. With a stage lift,
I'd think even a small girl could easily lift a dead body up to the stage. Nope, you wouldn't be able to stand it up, and that one was already up. And so that makes her the murderer, in your opinion.
Of course not. I believe in Trucy. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers.
Oh, brother, how long is she going to keep this act up? Defense, what position was stage lift number 2 in after the show?
Let's see. If I recall, it was in the fully raised position.
And the reason why it was fully raised is because the accused used it to lift the victim's body. Wouldn't you agree? Feel free to slowly mull it over while you roast over the flames of hell, you evil red pepper.
So, now I'm also evil. But that's... Okay, so if it's not evidence, then why does it say it was raised? Okay, that's a little confusing. Because it does say it was already all the way up. Which, I know in real life, all we have is Trucy's word to go on that. But in this game, so far, usually if it writes something down, it means it's true. That's really weird. Okay, what do you got to say about it, Athena?
I wonder if it's really possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up like Bonnie claims. I guess it's possible with a stage lift. Prosecutor said...
Unless it's supposed to put the stage diagram there, because it would have been... they want me to say that it would have been hard to get the stage lift under the ladder, I guess? I don't know.
Prosecutor Samadi has also said Trucy was the only one who could have done it under stage.
This testimony sure isn't doing the case any favors.
Wow, I'm shaken. I was certain that was what we were supposed to do there. Because they said it takes 2 people to crank it down, and it was already up. So I guess we're just saying that, according to the game, Trucy was lying about this. Or, you know, it's not admissible in court, this information here. This is just something that Apollo and Athena know, which was not clear to me. Sorry. I am doing a horrible, horrible job. I was really confident in this case beforehand. Might still make it, you never know. I'm growing increasingly unconfident if they're going to do that kind of thing again. Do they just want me to say there's a ladder there? Because that was my reasoning for why he had to have been killed in the coffin, and they didn't like it then. I guess I better push some more. I guess it's possible for a small girl to use a dead body up, lift a dead body up if she used a stage lift.
Hold it!
What makes you think it would be possible? It's not like you tried it out yourself, right?
Well,
Actually, we did try it out for ourselves.
You did?
Detective Sky, if you would.
Oh! So that's why you made me do that. Detective Sky, what did he have you do? The prosecutor asked me to try raising one of the male police officers with the stage lift, without a single word of explanation as to why he was making me do it. You're kidding! It's as if he really can foresee all of our counter-arguments, and this male police officer was collapsed in a heap, is that right? And somehow ended up standing up when the lift brought them up?
Do not underestimate this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
More like haughty.
I guess that means Trucy could have lifted the dead body up. Does that mean...
I don't know. Okay, well clearly I don't know anything, so maybe I just better push on everything. I can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Rios. Hold it! I don't know what I'm gonna ask about here, but I'm asking it! You said you're a huge fan of Trucy's, isn't that right?
Oh yes, I became a magician because I just wanted to be just like her. The first time I saw her, she was performing at the Wonder Bar. She was only in junior high back then, but she got up on stage with tons of confidence. And then she proceeded to win my heart with her astonishing tricks and winning smile.
She certainly sounds like she means all of that. And you didn't notice a lie anywhere. So finally being able to perform with her must have been quite a treat for you, right?
Oh yes. After all, it was my chance to have her see me, not just as a fan, but as a fellow magician. But then that horrible accident happened.
It was not an accident. It was murder. Witness, please explain if you would. How a small young woman such as Trucy Wright could have raised the body?
Is it possible could Trucy really have... Hold it! It's what possible? Could Trucy really have what, Mr. Pham? Please finish your sentence.
Well, I...
Don't try to beat around the bush. Come right out and say it. Why not tell this court what you really believe?
What I really believe? Of course I don't believe Trucy could ever commit murder. Such an amazing and wonderful magician would never do such a thing. But, taking all the facts into account, what else can I think?
You know of at least 3 other unflattering things you really think about Trucy. Jotaro!
How can you attack this girl when she is obviously speaking with reserve?
There is such a thing as reading between the lines, Mr. Justice. It's sad how the youth of today lack the ability to do such a basic thing.
Looking at me like that isn't going to help me stick my foot in my mouth less, Your Honor.
Witness, please describe what the accused might have used to lift the dead body.
All right.
I get the sinking feeling I'm not going to get anything from pushing out all these. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. Hold it! You didn't have a single spare moment to slip down to the other stage passage.
Huh? Don't tell me you suspect me now.
I'm just trying to do my job by fully examining your alibi. Depending on how solid it is, I might have to suspect you, yes.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't spit on my head and tell me it's raining, lawyer boy. I'm right here in the footage. Or are you too much of an idiot to see?
Alright, well, we figured out which Bonnie is on trial here.
Huh?
Mr. Pham, are you feeling alright? You seem suddenly different.
Oh, oops. Where did that come from, Wright? Oh my, I seemed to have snapped there for a second, didn't I?
You didn't just snap, you broke character just now.
In any case, I was on stage the whole time performing magic. I mean, you saw me in the footage, right? My dazzling and flawless performance.
And she's not tensing up such that Apollo feels she's lying. So presumably the one we were talking to in the dressing room is cute Bonnie, and then the one who was on stage was murder Bonnie.
Flawless?
That's odd considering what you told me. You said that you'd made a mistake with where you positioned Mr. Hat. Mr. Pham, to what is the defense referring?
Well, I made a little mistake on stage. I was in charge of operating Mr. Hat, you see. According to the script, I was supposed to place him to the left of the coffin. But I flubbed it up and made him stand to the right of the coffin instead.
What's weird is that the winch looks normal here. Like, it looks like it's not stretched over to the side. So, maybe it was supposed to be... Maybe we're saying left and right, we're mixing up whether that's from the audience's perspective or from behind the curtain. And because of that mistake, Trucy had to move the stage lifts around.
I feel really bad about messing Trucy up like that with my goof.
Then why are you giggling? Alright, it was when you were just supposed to push on all of them. That's dumb! The stage lift should totally have worked there. Darn it! I don't see any inconsistencies in her testimony.
Now, do you know who the real killer is? Come on, Gramps. Don't just sit there. Hand down your ruling pronto. Do it quick before you keel over up there.
I beg your pardon?
Oops. Oh, what's gotten into me? I'm so sorry.
I give her another 5 minutes before she tears off that mask. Well, defense? Are you ready to let it all go now? Of course not! I'll never give up! I see. I suppose this too is fate. The sacred scriptures of Khura'Inism describe a variety of hells for the damned. For someone like you who struggles ceaselessly against his fate, Papal Bolgig seems most appropriate. People boy... What? Oh, wait, that's Khura'Inese. What sort of terrible place is Papal Bolgig? A place where the more one struggles, the further one falls into the abyss. At the bottom of the abyss, a ferocious beast awaits. Is it anything like the ferocious beast of the understage? Think of it as something akin to an antlion sandpit trap. Oh, there's one of those in my backyard!
Wow, Khura'In's hell is closer to home than I thought.
Now then, it would appear that the witness's testimony supports the prosecution's claims that the defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim on the stage. How are we supposed to get out of this jam?
Hey, Paula, if you can't find any contradictions, maybe it's time to use analytical psychology.
You mean?
I heard some discord in Bonnie's voice while she was testifying. Yeah, no joke.
Noise level 100%, that's more than some.
See? Wade is picking up on the noise in her art, too.
Ooh, wow, I like the HUD on that. It looks very clean.
That's right, Athena can hear things that others can't with her super sensitive hearing.
She can hear the emotions people suppress as a kind of noise or discord in their voices. Alright, Athena, let's give it a try.
You got it.
I was totally fooled by that testimony because 3 of the points weren't actual points. It was just like, I didn't think Trucy could have done it. Could Trucy have done it? I was on stage. It seemed very much like they were just trying to pad it out so that you would, so that it wasn't obvious where the one you were supposed to push on it was, which is why I was like, oh, it's obviously this one we're supposed to put stage load number 2 there. I still don't really understand why that doesn't work, but perhaps we'll understand later.
You got it! Hold it!
Your Honor, I'm afraid that our witness, Mr. Pham, is suffering under terrible traumatic stress due to this horrible incident.
She is?
Yes, what with that terrible death on stage, and her beloved Trucy getting arrested, she's under awful strain and shock. But I don't know how much more she can take before she's unfit to testify. What?
Oh, I've heard of that. What is it called? A postal stress disorder, right? It's where a person becomes uncontrollably angry, I think. I read about it somewhere.
That's going postal, Your Honor. This is PTSD.
Oh, my. So that's why the victim acts so hostile at times, as if she were a different person.
Yes, and I think your condition is clouding your memory of the incident. Therefore, I suggest a short therapy session for the witness.
Hold it! Ah, therapy? You don't know the first thing about a magician's mental strength. I've risked my life jumping through rings of fire and having my body sawn in half.
Oopsie. Why, I have to watch my temper, don't I? More evidence, Your Honor.
Miss Sykes, please do whatever you can to help this unfortunate young lady.
And what exactly is this child planning to do, Mr. Justice?
She's in the room, you can ask her! With her super sensitive hearing, Miss Sykes can hear a witness's true emotions. Simply from tone and inflection, she can tell exactly what a person is feeling. I can even pick out feelings that a witness is trying to suppress or hide, which it projects the emotions I hear into the moon matrix where I can analyze them.
It sounds like some sort of spurious devilry. Though I find it hard to believe, I must...
I'm sorry, I thought you could, always hear where a trial is going. What's this all of a sudden?
How do emotions constitute evidence?
Well, I won't say that emotions can be taken as evidence, per se. I have seen how instrumental Miss Sykes' work has been in cracking a case. Therefore, I wholly support giving it a try.
I see. If you are in favor of it, Your Honor, then I have no objections. Even this mere monk can see that something disturbs the witness.
I'll disturb you!
Oh, thank you for understanding, Prosecutor Samadi. Apollo, you remember how to conduct a therapy session, right? You want me to lead the session? Of course. You're the lead on this case, after all. Fair enough. But, do I need a refresher? No need. I think I still remember from the last time. So let's get right to it. Okie dokie. Ah, you ready, Widget? Let's do this. Hey, that's the name of the song. Beep, beep.
Righty. So we're looking for a contradictory emotion. I guess Trucy is the one who killed Mr. Rias. I would think you would feel some surprise about that, but sadness makes some sense. It makes sense anyway. Even she can move the body with that lift. Evil Trucy's face is amazing. Yeah, he's slumped. That he wouldn't be able to stand up in the coffin and then fall forward then. I was on stage at the time. No emotions here, huh? Sketchy. But that terrible mistake. My stupid flub caused Trucy so much trouble. You don't have that much upsetness for that. Interesting. I feel so bad about it. That's more incriminating, though, isn't it? Got it! Oh, that doesn't happen yet. Okay, so I look for inconsistencies between her testimony and her emotions, right? That's right. Like if she says, I was so happy when the sad marker's lit up, or if the sad marker doesn't react, even though she says she was feeling down. When you find an unexpected emotion, go ahead and pinpoint it. I said I know how to do it. Okay, I'll give it a try. Oh, sorry. There's a button for pinpoint in this one. You don't just, okay, sorry. They did change it a little bit. Doink! Doink! Got it!
I have to say, Mr. Pham, you certainly are a strange one. Even though you said, I feel so bad about it, it seems you were feeling happy about it. I think I can guess why you were feeling happy. It must be because you messed Trucy up. I think you were happy because you messed the defendant up. I'm right, aren't I?
You gotta be kidding me. Why would I be happy I messed Trucy up? I'm a big fan of hers.
Because we saw you.
I hate her. I loathe her. I can't stand that Trucy Wright. Just because she's good at magic, she thinks she's all that.
We really gotta start wearing body cams or like... Did Athena maybe record that?
So this is exactly what that sniveling brat deserves.
We saw how you said you hated Trucy Wright. How you were glad she was in trouble. And even how it was what she deserved.
Ouch!
It looks like I hit the bunny on the head, so to speak.
I guess that's not evidence, but according to her emotional response here. Oh, and the noise went down. So that's a bit more close to evidence.
Oh, the noise level dropped. Now if we get it down to 0%.
Applying just one more thing. Well, Mr. Pham, are you ready to confess how you really feel?
What? What do you mean? I'm Bunny, the sweet, cute little bunny. I'm a rookie magician working hard to be just like my idol, Trucy. That's the character I'm supposed to be. Objection!
Keep that up, Mr. Pham, and you're going to have a mental breakdown.
Just let yourself be who you really are.
I really am?
The two sides of you are fighting each other and doing you psychic harm. I can hear them. Two distinct voices battling inside you. Shut your bile, you know-nothing, know-it-all.
I mean, you mustn't say things like that or I might get flustered.
Mr. Pham, how long do you insist on maintaining this wolf in sheep's clothing act? We can't end this therapy session until you get real with us. Set the wild beast inside you free!
Ouch! Gah!
Don't make me laugh. You don't know a dang thing about me. You want to see who I really am? Fine. Take a good look. What in the world?
Sheep's clothing. You've got it all wrong. It's a rabbit suit I've got on, and I'm not a wolf. I'm a blood-sucking vampire. A bat with fangs and wings.
I wonder if this has been changed in the court record. Nope, still not.
I think we just opened Pandora's box.
But there's still Discord, is there not?
I'm finally done with that goody two-shoes cotton-tail act. I feel free as a bat.
Oh no. Nice umbrella, though. Surprised you didn't have it in the weapon stand, which is actually an umbrella stand. Defense, your therapy session has taken a turn for the worse from the looks of it.
There's a perfectly good explanation for this. Isn't there, Miss Cykes? Methinks I created a monster. Blur out.
Hey, you lobster boy.
Who, me?
You think I'm glad Trucy's in trouble? That I think she's getting her just desserts?
It's just desserts, actually.
Well, guess what? You're right.
Does this mean you admit to wishing the defendant harm?
Well, the bat is out of the bag now. That mistake of mine was a work of art. Thanks to my goof, poor little Trucy had to do all of that hard physical labor.
When you say hard physical labor, what are you referring to?
Because of Mr. Haas' new position, Trucy had to move both of those huge stage lifts. They must have been so heavy. What a riot.
That's strange. Athena, could you please add that last statement to Bonnie's testimony? Alright, I'll update the Moon Matrix with the new info. Sorry, I kind of spaced out and was just doing the voice. What was said? Hey, Paul, now there's a new inconsistency in the testimony. Yeah, she finally slipped up. So what do I need to do now? Well, from this point onward, you just do what you do best. Find the contradiction in the testimony and present evidence to refute it. So is this one of those things where we can swap between them? Alright, I've got you now, Bonnie-Pt.10. I guess Trucy is the one who killed Mysterious. Even she could move the body with that lift. I was on stage at the time, but that terrible mistake. You know what? Serves her right. Hee. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage. Oh, right. No one. Well, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to put this here because it does say she never told anyone that she moved the stage lifts. Bonnie might have inferred it, but I'm pretty sure that's just what they wanted to say, right? Objection! That doesn't make sense.
What? So you think I'm crazy now?
I always thought that a little bit. No, that's not the point I was trying to make.
But I don't hear you denying it.
Miss Defam. Defam as in defamatory, as in... Because it's kind of like defam as in woman, I guess, in French, but it's also like defamatory because she's trying to get Trucy messed up. Miss Defam, allow me to repeat your statement. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts.
That's right, and I still say that's just what she did.
But how did you know? How did you know Miss Wright moved the stage lifts? According to her own statement, she didn't tell anyone that she had done so.
What?
So how could you possibly have known what she had done, unless you saw her? You saw Miss Wright moving the stage lifts in the understage passage, didn't you?
Yeah.
Info update. She was there, Gandalf. She was there 3,000 years ago, when the strength of men failed. Huh. So then, Cute Bonnie was on stage and Bad Bat was downstage. Understage, even. That's definitely curious, but I think we'll have to leave it till next time on an Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice because it's already been going on long enough as it is. Sorry for that incredibly rocky start. We're already down at 40% health. No. I had such high hopes for me in this game. It's because we're not playing as Athena. Every time I play as Athena, we don't die. Well, whatever. We're doing our best. Next one on the channel is going to be some more Fire and Three Houses Are Verdant When Assassins Only Run. And next time here, we'll be getting into the rest of this, into some more of this trial. But we did make some good progress here today in spite of my slow and penalty-addled start. I thought we were saying before supposedly his real name is Man of Mystery. Anyway, stupid, dumb, stupid ways I lost health aside, this case is very fun so far. They're, for the most part, doing a very good job of keeping the scene clear and consistent. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I will see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! Ambrosia! Plan the other ones. Right now, before we carry on with any more of this and I inevitably forget. Bonk! Yoink! Yoink! The spa day for you, Happy. Defense increased by 1 again to 31 base now. Hells to the yes. How much bait do we have, by the way? Bearing in mind we're about to